sounds of a mother cry when a brother died. The sounds of a mother cry when her baby died. They called on Sheik, man, they called on the streets, man, they called on the street prophet. Yeah, that's me, man. I ain't no pimp behind a pulpit, man. I'm trying to feed them, reach them, lead them to a promised land. You know the sounds of a mother cry when a brother died. The sounds of a mother cry when her baby died. They called on Sheik, man, they called on the streets, man, they called on the street prophet. Yeah, that's me, man. I ain't no pimp behind a pulpit, man. I'm trying to feed them, reach them, lead them to a promised land. We went from Emmett Till, man, to a Trayvon Martin. Black folks still marching and ain't none sparking. I gotta tell my people, man, move to the beat of a drum, to the sound of a gun. Move to the breath I breathe from out of my lungs. I'm from a city where a king was killed. So please, don't ask me how do I feel. I was born in a nation built off of backs of blacks. You know, picking cotton to fishing and crack. We went from dying for freedom to dying for no reasons. And all our leaders are dead. And the new ones wanna give peace to them. They wanna eat with them, sleep with them, getting knee deep with them. You know the sounds of a mother cry when a brother died. The sounds of a mother cry when her baby died. They called on Sheik, man, they called on the streets, man, they called on the street prophet. Yeah, that's me, man. I ain't no pimp behind a pulpit, man. I'm trying to feed them, reach them, lead them to a promised land. Hood stole, they started from the pimps, politicians, and preachers. Look at the garbage they feed us. How them devils try to lead a man straight to hell. These leaders deceive us, they call themselves believers. All they doing is preaching, man. What the hell they teaching, man? Real blood suckers, so I call them leeches. They like them gators on their feet, that's why they need us. Liars and connivers, deceivers are my rivals, but the God still provide us with the streets, so we riders. Peace to them thugs that stay beside us. That to them devils that brought us bowels. Rest in peace, Nat Turner, Denmark, Marcus Garvey, Mac and Max. We repeat, we still trying to get free. You know the sounds of a mother cry when a brother died. The sounds of a mother cry when her baby died. They called on Sheik, man, they called on the streets, man, they called on the street prophet. Yeah, that's me, man. I ain't no pimp behind a pulpit, man. I'm trying to feed them, reach them, lead them to a promised land. Daddy wasn't there, mama couldn't raise me right. George Washington on that dollar bill had to slay me. They said Lincoln emancipate me, but I ain't seen it lately. They said we had liberty, but look, I'm barely free. These coons don't wanna hear me, but black folk feel shit because the knowledge I'm healing them. The street prophet building them, never concealing, only revealing. You know the hood blocks and corners, financed by crack and marijuanas. Drug smugglers, gun runners ain't done nothing for us, but keep we looking over my shoulder through the rear view, lights flashing, guns blasting. You know the sounds of a mother cry when a brother died. The sounds of a mother cry when her baby died. They called on Sheik, man, they called on the streets, man, they called on the street prophet. Yeah, that's me, man. I ain't no pimp behind a pulpit, man. I'm trying to feed them, reach them, lead them to a promised land. Schools miseducate me, got me going crazy. Lord forgave me for he knew streets racist, but wild and crazy. Slugs couldn't fade me or glaze me, amazing graces. I seen the hate in their faces. You know them clowns with frowns turned upside down. How does it sound when family turn and foes? Friend flip the hose, blood thick in the water. I need water to survive, but how do I survive inside a wordplay with lies? You know Christian Jews and Muslims, man no good us, mean no good to us.
The slave master took Tom and dressed him well and fed him well and even gave him a little education, a little education.
You know the sounds of a mother cry when a brother died. The sounds of a mother cry when her baby died. They called on Sheik, man, they called on the streets, man, they called on the street prophet. Yeah, that's me, man. I ain't no pimp behind a pulpit, man. I'm trying to feed them, reach them, lead them to a promised land.
Back during slavery, when black people like me talked to the slaves, they didn't kill him. They sent some old house Negro along behind him to undo what he said. You have to read the history of slavery to understand this. There were two kinds of Negroes. There was that old house Negro and the field Negro. And the house Negro always looked out for his master. When the field Negroes got too much out of line, he held them back in check. He put them back on the plantation. The house Negro could afford to do that because he lived better than the field Negro. He ate better, he dressed better, and he lived in a better house. He lived right up next to his master in the attic or the basement. He ate the same food his master ate and wore his same clothes. And he could talk just like his master. Good diction. And he loved his master more than his master loved himself. That's why he didn't want his master hurt. If the master got sick, he'd say, "What's the matter, boss? We sick?" When the master's house caught a fire, he'd try and put the fire out. He didn't want his master's house burned. He never wanted his master's property threatened. And he was more defensive of it than the master was. That was the house Negro. But then you had some field Negroes who lived in huts, had nothing to lose. They wore the worst kind of clothes, they ate the worst food, and they caught hell. They felt the sting of the lash. They hated their master. Oh, yes, they did. If the master got sick, they prayed that the master died. If the master's house caught a fire, they prayed for a strong wind to come along. This was the difference between the two. And today you still have house Negroes and field Negroes. Yeah. I'm a field Negro.